Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and I finally hit God rank on the Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion World online client earlier this week. And to kind of celebrate for it, and I'm going to show off my deck list for it, but I also updated my website to have this God rank deck list kind of section for it. So it's in the event section that I have on my website as is, but I did want to just kind of have like an informal list of just some of the additional lists that I've been able to find and just see what people have been grinding with for the kind of God rank kind of stuff. So obviously some leaders don't have any deck list right now, but I wanted to just put as many as I could. And if you guys are, personally are watching this and you've got to God already, make sure to reach out to me either on my email or on my Twitter and just let me know. And I can also add you to this deck list kind of form here. So again, community driven. I don't have any like actual way to know all the lists that have hit God outright, but I think this is a good resource, and I want to keep doing this for as long as we can. So that's kind of the idea for it. But I was able to get to God myself on the client in just under 150 games. I think it was around 140. We ended up being like level 79 with about an 89% win rate without it. So it was a pretty good grind. It took about I think it was like under 40 hours, probably around 40 hours, between 30 and 40 for it. A lot of it was pretty informal. I was in Japan during most of it. I was only live streaming about half of it, a little bit more. Like we did a 12-hour grind going into it, but I did change up a little bit. So a little bit of padding for this site as well. I did put all three of the deck lists that I grind through it. Cooler was kind of like the end push for it, so that's the one we're going to talk about the most. But I also did have a Broly and a Goku Black that we used, so we're going to talk about those two leaders too. But honestly, it was a really kind of good grind for me, but mostly because of how the rank system works right now in Fusion World, where you just play against anyone else who hit that rank button. So it could be someone your own skill level, it could be higher, it could be lower. Rank doesn't matter. I played a lot of people in bronze and silver pretty quickly, which just helps me a lot. So like obviously the grind is easier because of it, but the experience is not as difficult for it. So it's definitely a function of time, not as much of a function of skill for it. Obviously, if you're above average on skill and you keep playing people who are in bronze and silver, it gets pretty easy pretty quickly. Sometimes people surprise you for it, but I think this is kind of where it is. But we finished I think it was like 46 and 5 over like 14 hour of games. So like an 89% win rate over 50 games got us pretty far, and it worked out pretty good. So that's kind of like my experience for it. I don't have like really much more to say about it. It was good. I'll probably try to do it every season, which should be every season of the set. So the next one will be with the release of set 2 in May. And let's just jump over to the deck list specifically. So here's the cooler list. I honestly did make an entire video going over this guy. So if you guys want to go over there, it's going to be linked in the description too. But kind of my quicker thoughts on this guy is that he's very strong in this, mostly because I think he's like one of the strongest decks in this game. He has a really good matchup against Green Gohan specifically. Broly is also, I think, a good matchup for us, but Green Gohan specifically is very, very good. Being able to, you can do our good combo of being able to awaken, since we have so many cards with self-awakeners. If we can do something like play Frieza on 2, get 1 hit of self-awakening, and then like our best combo is using Raccoon, take a card. If we still have Frieza out, we can play Ginyu, we get our 2 energy back, and then we play one of our other 2 cost self-awakeners, which are again Zarbon, Frieza, and Knees. So being able to do that, having 10 self-awakeners, getting all that draw to kind of supplement the fact that our leader doesn't draw on the front side is very good. We get a lot of pressure. We get like 3 or 4 20k attacks by turn 3, which is a little bit tricky to overcome. Awakens them pretty quickly themselves, and we're not really losing any card advantage or anything else. So that's kind of like the main thing. I'm playing 4 copies of Zarbon and 2 copies of this, mostly because this is a Frieza's army. So more often than not, I want to be able to play Zarbon and the next turn be able to do a Ginyu. So either if that's from Raccoon or being able to play like a 1-drop like Sorbet into Ginyu and then into Frieza, it's generally worth it. The knee is obviously is a 10k counter, so being our combo, being able to do that helps us out a lot. But I felt like the consistency through Zarbon was just better. So we do have a 2 coolers, which this was fixed, the interaction to match the card game. So if you like playing 3 of it, go for it. I think 2 is the minimum, and 4 is too much, so you can run 2 or 4, or 2 or 3. I think 4 is too many. 4-drop Frieza just wins us games. It essentially has double strike because it's 40k over 2 attacks, which is very good for us. It's very good for ending the game. sometimes if my opponent's at 3, I just kind of hit them with Golden Frieza, hit them down to 1, and then I don't really care because Frieza gets super large, and even like 2 attacks is just fantastic at 40k for just discarding 1 card from your hand. So being able to do that is very good. Supernova also, I charge this card moderately often, but every time I use it, it wins me the game. Green doesn't usually play a lot of 4 costs or less, so it doesn't really help that matchup a lot. Red and blue, I think, are more inherent. Red specifically, you do get to lock down their stuff sometimes, and yellow in the mirror match, if you're able to lock down their cooler or one of their other cards, I think the Supernova is a good card for it too. But this is the list for it. I think it's very good. It's probably the deck that I drive with the most, and it's been very strong for me. So I think this, if I wanted to grind to like top 100, I would probably queue up this deck more time than not. And the biggest thing about this guy too is that the games are usually above average or like below average on speed. They're very quick, is what I'm trying to say. So I could probably grind out 4 or 5 games with cooler and win 4 of them pretty easily, and usually win 5. But it's just easier to grind and faster than the other decks that we've been playing. So there we go. Next up, we have Broly, which is this is just like the safe build. I've only lost with this deck once in ranked, and I've probably played about 30 to 40 games with it. It's just really consistent. Obviously, like the mirror match is pretty miserable. It's whoever finds more of the 1-drops. But we ended up adding the MOA just because, like, again, like if in a matchup where you just need to see as many 1-drops as possible, this card is just like an additional copy. It doesn't find as many good cards, but it does help us find like our 3-cost destructive strength. It helps us find like our Paragus as well. So we're playing 2 or 4 of these Paragus just as like another target for MOA, so we don't miss as much. We're only playing 13 cards, so if you want to play more events, you can, like maybe another Instant Kamehameha or Gigantic Meteor, but I didn't like this card at 4. I felt like I just couldn't use it all the time, but 3 felt like very good for us, and I just kind of like what this deck does. You guys know what this deck does. I do like the Aandroidd 18 for this build. There was one build that I was running that we just ran 4 of these, and we weren't running any of the MOA. It kind of forces your opponent to get rid of it, and if they don't, you get just the, if you get to 6 energy with this, that extra draw is really helpful. Being able to draw 1 discard means that if you are going first and you need to help find like one of your better cards, this can help you do that, get that extra cycling. And green is good at having a lot of cards without any counter or any combo power in your hand, because we do play a lot of greedy cards. So I think that's something that this can help. And if we're going first, which I think more times than not we're going second, this helps the consistency a little bit. Also, we only can own 1 copy of the Son Goku promo in the game right now, outside of having like the additional copy. So if I had a second copy of the Son Goku, I'd probably play it and maybe get rid of, I don't know, maybe honestly, like Secret Rare we didn't need. I'm not playing the Secret Rare in this build. I just never found like I needed it. If you like playing it, go for it. But I also know that some people are playing Broly as like it's the best budget deck in the game, so I didn't find a use for it that way. But maybe just like 2 copies of Son Goku and maybe taking out like maybe one of these 5-drops. I think this is probably worth it. It helps you on your consistency, and finding like another like 6 cards that let you ramp on 4 energy, I think means that you're pretty consistently finding it. It's a Saiyan, so Son Gohan 1-drop can find it, and yeah, if I had a second copy in the client, I'd definitely run it too. But it's pretty basic. Broly's pretty understood. There's a lot of decks you get like just a pure advantage because you are a 25k leader, and people on the client still don't know how to play against this deck consistently based on my own experiences too. So here's my Broly list. It's pretty basic, and I think it's more on the budget side. If you get 2 starter decks and then just a couple of the good supers, the only card you really need to spend the quote unquote wild card points are the Vegeta, because you do need this card pretty difficultly. Like you just need a lot. It's a very good card. So there we go. And then lastly, Goku Black, and this was like the cheese deck for a while, but non-ironically, I think this is potentially the strongest deck in the entire game if everything goes right for you. So the best play for you is you go second, you play Mai on turn 1, you take 2 cards from your life, and then depending on if your opponent like wants to self-awaken you or not, you let them, because you do want to be self-awakened as soon as you can. But if that's not the case, if you play Mai and then you play a second one on turn 2, and then one of your 1-drop Zamasus, you're at 4 life, you have a Zamasu on board, and you have 3 energy with the marker, and then on the next turn you'll have 4 energy with the marker, so you're going to use your Goku Black ability to use the Activate main to place the Zamasu at the bottom of your deck, use the effect to play a Goku Black from your hand. So you play one of these boys, and then you're able to just go off. And you have a 6-drop 40k when you have 3 energy, and your opponent probably has 3 energy. They'll have like no way to remove this. You're going to play this, and then you're going to probably play either Goku Black, Gotenks, or Trunks Future. All these have their own merits for it. And then you just kind of win. And if you have like another copy of Goku Black, and like you can, like the next turn you can attack with this Goku Black, play a 1-drop, which feels kind of bad, but then you can use your leader ability again and then play the second one. So this is like the high rolliest deck that I think exists in this format. But if you're able to make it go off, then you just win. So green specifically, if you go second, will not play or will not have any answers to this outside of the I-beam, which is seeing like a little bit more play, but by and large, I don't think your opponent's going to answer it. Red's a big kind of rough matchup. They're going to be able to get rid of your Zamasu pretty easy. Yellow can be a little bit tricky. You kind of want to play the 15k Zamasu and you just want to spend all your cards to defend it. But there are ways for other decks to kind of interact with it. But if they can't, you just feel like you win the game on like turn 3, which feels really good. So that's kind of like this build. We had some consistency with having some more self-awakeners like the Goten and Trunks. This card being able to like potentially take 2 cards from your life, I think is helpful too. And there are some times where you can use it with Mai and get that extra like card draw, and just it helps out as well. And then we are playing the peel-off chain, so we can use a peel-off. We have the pan for just more consistency of drawing, but it's also a 10k that you're able to find off your peel-off, which is nice. And I think it's just a solid deck for that. So I am playing the Gotenks. I know some people like playing like the 4-drop crit Vegeta. There's also the 4-drop Trunks that has crit and also bounces a 3 or less back to hand. If you like either of those, go for it. Gotenks has been okay. I do like the ability to get like 2 10k counters or combos from our trash to our hand, so I think that's helpful on both offense and defense. But if you don't like it, you can change it up. But otherwise, I think this deck is good. The only thing that holds it back too is that there's like a minor issue with Goku Black, where if you attack with the card and then you play the Trunks Future off of it, your opponent shouldn't be able to block before you resolve your Trunks Future, but in the game currently that happens. So that would be like the only reason I don't climb with it much more, is that interaction kind of comes up more often than you think it would, and you lose a 40k attack because they block and then you bounce the card back, so they don't even get the card. So I think that's something that I have to like be a little bit better. Like I think that would change how often I play that deck when that gets fixed, but it's fine, but it's kind of annoying that that's still kind of the thing for it. So anyways, those are kind of like the big 3 decks. The 4th deck I played with was Frieza, but it was pretty much this build, pretty similar to it, so I didn't want to just kind of go over to the same build. But Frieza, I think, has been like the sleeper, or maybe not the sleeper, but just the deck that a lot of people have been climbing with. I do think it has like a really good matchup spread for this, and I think a lot of people have been kind of agreeing with me too. So that's going to be it for this video. Again, if you did make God and you want to be part of this page, let me know. Just message me here on YouTube, on Twitter, or just email me. And there's also like the email address at the bottom of my website here. So on the contact us, you can send me that and I can put you on the page here. But this should be continued to be updated while I can. And I want to see how many deck lists we can get and what it transforms into as we keep going throughout this format. So that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys appreciate this video. Congrats to all these players who are able to get to God already. I think it's even though it's more time than skill, it is still a really big accomplishment. And I'm happy to see people grinding this game out too. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.